What's going on, Ghosties? Welcome back to Tales of Spooky Coffee House. If you're new here, welcome back to our podcast. My name is Veronica.
And I'm Chelsea.
And we are your hosts. On today's episode, we will be discussing our haunted location, the Whaley house, and serial killer of the week, Elizabeth Bathory, as well as a tarot card reading at the end of the podcast for the one, the only me. So excited. Anyways, Chelsea, how are you? How was your week? How are you doing? What are you drinking?
Well, what do you want me to start with?
I mean, I give you like 30 questions, so...
Yeah. So my week was good. By the time this podcast goes up, my book is officially released to the public. So I have been marketing like crazy for that. That's been fun. I get a 4-day weekend this weekend because my daughter's starting school next week. So trying to get a lot done before she goes back, and my new work schedule is starting. So that means less hours to go into the office, so more time at home, which is nice. I think that was it for your questions, right? Besides what I'm drinking.
Maybe. I wish I could remember, honestly.
Oh, this episode's going to be a disaster.
In a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, in a good way.
Okay, continue.
So I'm drinking a new drink. So we talked about last episode how you like Fireball and you wanted to try some in your coffee.
Uh-huh.
And I said I was going to go get Bailey's and put in mine for this episode. Well, I went to go get Bailey's and like everywhere was out. So I got the next best thing, which was Kahlua.
Oh, yes.
And I'm actually trying a new flavor. I didn't know that they had a mint mocha flavor.
Oh.
Yeah, it is so good. Like it's my favorite. Like if I could drink this at work, I probably would, but because it's alcohol, I can't.
Ghosties, if we can all together at the same time write this on our grocery list. Let's go ahead and write that down.
Yeah, dude, it is amazing. So I kind of made like I guess it would be considered a White Russian. I don't know if it would be because I didn't technically put vodka in it. But anyways, it was half coffee, some vanilla creamer, and then the mint mocha Kahlua.
Ooh, that sounds yummy.
Yeah, so it is, dude. Like, it is so good.
It is.
Yeah, you can hear it hitting already.
No. If we don't end this episode with you telling me how much you love me, you did not drink enough. Okay?
Okay.
She's all crying. Ronnie, I just gotta tell you I love you back.
Well, technically I started drinking before I started drinking the coffee. So, like, we had a cookout today at a friend's house, and they were like, Chelsea, drink with us. So I'm like, okay. So they had me try
okay.
They had me try this new drink. I had never tried it before. It's pink lemonade wine.
Okay.
And basically it comes in a package, and literally it says to just throw it in the freezer for like 8 hours and then drink it frozen. Well, we didn't have frozen. We just had like super chilled.
Yeah.
It is amazing, dude.
I took some of those to Vegas. Yeah, they're pretty bomb. They're especially with the heat.
Oh yeah, and it was hot as hell today.
It's like an adult Slurpee.
Yeah, so I drank that. And then we had whiskey with Coke, or I guess it wasn't Coke, it was root beer. We had whiskey with root beer. And then I have this drink, so I've had a lot of alcohol today.
Okay, Miss Alcoholic, I see you.
Oh, dude, no, this is nothing compared to how I used to be.
All right.
So what about you? How was your week? What are you drinking?
I just made myself my good old coffee from Don Francisco and added caramel drizzle to the bottom and just used powdered creamer because I wasn't in the mood for my peppermint mocha creamer. As far as how my week goes, or went, I actually went to go see Nope yesterday. Have you seen that one?
Oh, I've seen the trailer for it, but I haven't seen the movie. Was it good?
Bruh. Definitely do not go watch that movie sober. I mean...
Oh, I have to watch it high? Okay.
I guess you don't have to watch it high, but I feel like if you don't watch it high, you're just gonna be like...
What?
Anyways, yeah. But if you're high, you're gonna be like, fuck, dude, he's right. He has a good point. I don't know. I see you, Jordan Peele. I see you. I understood. But yeah, I recommend it. I really want to go watch Black Phone, though. Did I tell you that I have a new office chair?
You're really stoned, dude.
Why? That came out wrong, huh? Did I tell you that I what?
No, we talked about it last episode because I was with you while you built the last of it, and we talked about how you put the seat on backwards.
Okay, cool. I was trying to remember, bro. I couldn't. Okay, where was
Was
I?
that your crafty thing?
Yeah, so let's go back. So I told you
Well,
about the movie.
why don't you like do something crafty and go get like an old desk and fix it up for like
Because I
the
ain't got time
garage?
for that, Chelsea. I barely want
Why?
to get up and shower. Okay, you think I want to build a desk?
Dude, same.
Anyways, so yeah, that's how my week went. Pretty boring. I wish I had something better to tell you, but I do have some questions to start us off here, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you won the lottery, what would your today look like in 5 years?
I would definitely have like my own. I would definitely be like self-employed for sure. I feel like you and I would have made this podcast go viral already. I am starting another podcast that's for something completely different, and so I feel like that would kick off too. And Stephanie and we have a plan to start something,
Mm-hmm.
which I think we've told you about, but I don't want to go public yet because we haven't talked about going public. But
Uh-huh.
we have this idea that we've been playing around with for a couple years, so I feel like we would probably have that started already. I would definitely have a shit ton more books out, and I would be living in a really nice house with no neighbors, but also close enough to town where going to get groceries is not like an all-day trip.
Like a Beetlejuice house?
Oh yeah. Oh dude, that's actually perfect.
I'd want to be more in the woods, but yeah.
Yeah, I would want some woodsy area, but yeah, that would be perfect. So yeah, that's kind of I would just be working and earning, money because I'm one of those people where I'm a great worker, but I'm a mental worker. So like my husband, he does trailer factory, he fixes and builds trailers and all that. It's a lot of physical work. I am not that type of physical person. I'm not going to be lifting doors all day or putting roofs together, but like I can handle all the mental stress.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely a mental worker. I can focus on multiple things at once, and so I feel like all my projects would come to fruition without being held back by a paying job. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, which do you find more important? What you say or how you say it?
That's a kind of a tricky one because as somebody who writes for a living, like
Mm-hmm.
how you say something is pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes what an author is trying to put out is not what is received on the other end.
Mm-hmm.
So as a writer, I also know that. So I don't really think it's about how you say it as much as you say what you feel, and then if the other person doesn't understand, you clarify. So I think it's just more about the fact that you say it, because how you intended it can always be talked about after. You got to start somewhere.
Okay, getting really deep with your answer.
What about you?
Um,
Let me guess, you don't have one for that one either.
no, I don't.
What is what is why?
I don't know. These are hard questions for me.
So you expect them to not be hard for me?
I don't care. You're the one answering. It's about you, not me.
Okay, I have some questions for you then.
What do you want?
What's your most embarrassing moment?
Ooh, I don't get embarrassed. I'm just kidding. So I accidentally read this question while I was doing my notes, and I was trying to think of an answer for you. And I guess I'll go back to freshman year. I auditioned for the talent show. I auditioned with a Katy Perry song. I forgot which one. But anyways, I got through, and then after I got through, the choir teacher at the high school convinced me to join the choir because I wanted to do something different starting high school, and I did what's the auto class? What is that called?
Oh, mechanic shop?
Sure. I wanted to do that because I low-key wanted to be a mechanic. Like I wanted to work on cars.
Oh my
Um,
God, I'm gonna interrupt you for a second. Do
mhm.
you remember when we were in high school, about to start freshman year, and we were talking about opening up like a mechanic nail business? So you would do the mechanics and I would do all the nails for the women that were waiting. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that, but that's still fucking genius.
Okay, continue.
Um, then they'll have to double tip the mechanic, and then tip you.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. You know what?
Anyways,
You said that in high school too, bitch.
did I?
Yeah.
Listen, have I always been this smart? Yeah, I've only grown smarter. Anyways,
Keep
um,
going. Yeah, keep going.
yeah,
Sorry.
let's move on from that. And I auditioned for the talent show, got through, got convinced to join the choir. So, anyways, here comes the day of the talent show, and I changed the song that I was going to sing last minute to a Green Day song. And I literally learned it like the week of the talent show because I was full of myself. And
oh my god, did you forget your lyrics?
anyways, my mom and dad were there. And I knew where they were. I saw them sitting in the audience. I was looking at them when I was singing. And then I forgot the words. And I'm like, oh shit. And I literally said, oh shit, because I don't remember. But my friend said, you literally cussed on stage, right? You said, oh, I think it was, oh fuck. And I was like, shut the fuck up, dude. No, I didn't. In front of the whole school. Anyways. And I look at my parents and they're just sitting there. And I'm like, cool. This is fantastic. And then I just started singing the chorus one last time. Down to chill.
Sorry, I'm drunk. That was super funny.
And
I'm just picturing you like cursing in front of the audience and thinking that it's in your head. You know how many times I've done that?
Thinking that it's in my head. Dude, my coworker does that in front of patients. I'm like, bro, chill.
Dude, I am so terrified that that's gonna happen when I'm teaching kids at my job.
Dude, it's fine.
I'm always like very conscious about it because I'm like, what if I say it and I think it's in my head and it's not?
It's fine. You're fine. Kids are kids. So then I just sang the chorus one last time and everyone was cheering like super hard for me and I was like, cool. And then I got off stage. To my surprise, I didn't win. So yeah, that was my embarrassing story.
That's great. I love that story.
You're welcome.
Okay, so my next question is...
Hold up. So what's... Yeah, I almost forgot. I'm not gonna lie. I almost forgot, but this one's a good one. What's your most embarrassing moment?
So my most embarrassing moment is actually a parenting embarrassing moment.
Okay.
We were
oh god
potty training Izzy.
Oh, okay.
This is
cool.
before we had Remy, and so Izzy was potty training.
Mm-hmm.
And she got really good at holding it long enough to go to the bathroom. So we didn't have any pull-ups on her. She was just wearing underwear and she was doing really great. We stopped at the gas station because I was running errands that day. We stopped at the gas station. She went potty and I was like, okay. So I was like, are you sure you don't have to go again? Like, we're going to be running errands. She's like, yeah, I'm okay. So we're running errands and I go to pay my storage unit fee because at the time we were like in the middle of moving, so we had stuff in storage, and we're standing there. Mind you, this is only like half an hour after she just used the restroom. And she looks at me dead in the face while I'm waiting for them to process my payment, and she's like, mommy, I have to go potty really, really bad. And I'm like shit, like, because where I was paying my storage unit is just a hallway, like it's a hallway, and then they have like the locked door with the like the bars on the windows because you know it's in Fort Wayne, and I was like, we're literally in a fucking hallway, like what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm like, can you hold it for just a minute? As soon as we're done, like there's a gas station right next door, we'll go run over there. And she was like, okay, I can hold it. And as soon as she said it, she crossed her legs and just peed in the middle of the hallway. Like, oh my god, dude, I was like, oh no. Like, even if I had just like picked her up and ran to the gas station, she never would have made it at that point. Like,
yeah,
she waited too long to tell me. And I'm like, and it wasn't like a little bit, it was like a lot. Like, her bladder was totally 100% full, and I'm like, well, what the fuck do I do? Like, my kid is peeing in this fucking hallway right now. And so the people come back with my payment and they're like, okay, like, here you go. I'm like, hey, do you have any paper towels? She just spilled her drink on the floor.
Chelsea!
I didn't want to say it. It was hardwood. Like, it wasn't hardwood. It was like tile. So like, it was an easy cleanup. And they're like, oh yeah, like no problem. So I'm quickly like cleaning up her mess, and I had a plastic bag in my backpack. I had a plastic bag, but I didn't have fucking pull-ups. Imagine that. And so I quickly cleaned up. I shoved all the paper towels into the plastic bag, and I'm like, okay, like let's get out of here. The hallway still smelled like pee, and as I'm leaving and like trying to hide the fact that her pants are soaked until I could get her to the car, a couple other people walked in to do their payments, And I literally like was out the door with her when I heard one of them say, "Does that smell like pee to you?"
Oh,
Dude, I never got out of there so fast before. I was like, oh my god.
bro, I would never show my face again.
So yeah, I had to like go next door to the gas station and change her and everything. And I was like, okay, I have extra clothes for you. I don't have any pull-ups. Are you gonna be okay to finish going or running errands? She's like, yeah, I'll be okay. I'm like,
LOL.
I'm like, are you sure? Because you just like,
Because I don't trust you.
I'm like, we're going to Walmart next. Like, can you not do that?
There's more people there.
Yeah, I can't hide that. So that was my most embarrassing moment. I was like, oh no.
Have kids, they say. It'll be fun, they say.
Oh my god. Some of the, you know what? Some of the shit that people say though is hilarious, like kids, but other times it's like, oh my god, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Like the fact that Izzy can watch horror movies and not even flinch. She literally told me that A Nightmare on Elm Street was boring. She wasn't phased one bit. And so I was like, okay, maybe it's too old for her. Like, she's used to the graphics and stuff. So we watched Insidious, didn't flinch. I'm like, I don't know if that's a parenting win or a parenting fail because I don't know if she's going to be a serial killer or not.
They say serial killers are mostly born in November. I think you're safe. Well, technically, she's kind of on. Let's not talk
Technically,
about her
her
becoming a
due
serial
date,
killer.
yeah, her due date was November 2nd. It's not my fault she was born 2 days early on Halloween.
Your mom manifested that.
Yeah, she did. She said it from the very beginning as soon as she found out my due date. She's like, nope,
Yeah.
Halloween. Anyways, my next question for you is which Disney movie is your favorite?
Cars. That counts, right? Even though it's
That's a
Pixar.
Disney movie? I thought no, that's a Pixar movie.
Yeah, same shit. It's on Disney.
What's your favorite Disney movie, not Pixar movie?
Cars. Is Toy Story Pixar too? Fuck. I guess I'll go with Hercules.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yes, Hercules. Which one's yours?
Tangled.
Oh, okay.
I love the frying pan scenes.
Oh yeah, trash in
That's
the
literally,
camp.
yeah, that's
Wait,
literally,
on
what?
Tangled?
She has the frying pan that she keeps hitting Finn with.
I've never seen Tangled.
Oh my god. Okay, you just
I
watch
thought
it.
you were
But
talking about Tarzan.
no,
You don't have to be mean about it.
I wasn't being mean about it.
Yeah, you're yelling.
No, I wasn't.
You're using your mommy voice. You told me you weren't gonna do that to me anymore.
Sometimes it just slips out. I can't turn off and turn on being a mom. Sorry.
Okay, anyway, yeah, so my haunted location of the week, I'm very excited. I'm gonna be talking about the Whaley House, also known as the most haunted house in America. Yeah, let's just get started with some history here. So the Whaley House has been known for many things. For example, did you know that the Whaley House was San Diego's first commercial theater, the county courthouse, and a general store? This is extremely interesting to me because I recently visited the Whaley House, and to be honest, it's not that big. But then again, I guess back in the day, there weren't that many people. It wasn't too crowded, right?
Yeah.
However, I did have the opportunity to sit inside the courtroom as well as the theater, and let me just say, you can feel the rich history. It's so beautiful in there. Fun fact, the courthouse still holds active hearings. They actually had a hearing the week after I did their tour, so that was pretty cool to learn. Thomas Whaley began constructing his new home for him and his wife, Anna, on May 6, 1856, when he stated, "My new house, when completed, will be the handsomest, most comfortable and convenient place in town or within 150 miles from here." Fun fact, the house was built from bricks from Whaley's own brickyard. Come on, dude. You're gonna build a house with the bricks that you fucking made? That's fucking cool. During the first 3 years of living in the Whaley house, Thomas Whaley and his wife would have 3 children, Francis Hinton, Thomas Jr., and Anna Amelia. Unfortunately, Thomas Jr. would die at 18 months due to scarlet fever. Within the same year, the general store that was owned by Thomas Whaley was burned down to the ground. After these tragic events, the family moved to San Francisco, where they would have 3 more kids, George Hayes Ringgold, Violet Eloise, and Corinne Lillian. Now, do you guys remember the earthquake from 1868 in San Francisco? Do you remember the earthquake from 1868 in San Francisco, Chelsea, or have you heard of it?
I was gonna say I've heard of it. I definitely don't remember it. I was not
maybe
born.
maybe some of our listeners will remember. You never know.
What? Are you insane?
A little bit. But have you heard of this earthquake?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. If you're not aware of the disaster this earthquake brought, please go look up some videos on it. It's incredible. I will post on our Instagram some before and after photos for you. And actually, I'm also going to include photos of the Winchester Mystery House that was also affected by that earthquake. Okay, so that same earthquake forced the Whaleys to move back to the Whaley house in San Diego. You would think after all the tragedy that this family has been through that they would finally be cut some slack, but no. Unfortunately, the next tragedy that would unfold would involve Violet Whaley. Violet would kill herself in 1885 by shooting herself in the heart by the backyard outhouse due to the grief over her failed marriage. Her father, Thomas Whaley, would be the one to find her dying and brought her inside of the house into the parlor where Violet would die only 15 minutes later.
Damn.
It doesn't stop there. Within the next 68 years, 3 more members of the Whaley family would die inside of the house, starting with Anna Whaley, who passed away in 1913, Frances Whaley, who died in 1914, and then Lillian Whaley, who died in 1953. So, with all this information that you're given right now, any questions, comments, concerns? Because they literally lost 4 out of their 6 kids.
Yeah, I thought I had bad luck. That's fucking sad.
Yeah. And it kept coming. That's what's more sad about it. And the fact that they went to San Francisco and then the earthquake happened, and then the fact that they had to come back here, like, I don't know. It was just never ending.
I guess I never realized, like, all of that happened to the Whaleys. Like, I guess not to that extent. I guess is what I'm saying. Like, I didn't know it was that bad.
And there's so much more history, guys, if you want to look into them. Like I said, they're located in San Diego and they do offer tours. I highly, highly, highly recommend the tours. If you go and your guide is Bullet by any chance, yes, his name is Bullet, tell him I said hello. He is my bestie. Moving on to the hauntings that occur within the house. So I do have my own paranormal experience with this house, but funny enough, it wasn't from the tour. So about 3 years ago, my parents and I went to San Diego for a family vacation. We spent our first day at the San Diego Zoo, and the next day we were just gonna go home, but we made a pit stop at this like small beach that my mom wanted to check out. And then after that, I was like, you know what? We're pretty close to Old Town San Diego. Are you guys cool if we like drive by the Whaley house? They're like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. And there's restaurants so you can have lunch before we leave, So we go, we park, we're checking out Old Town, and there's the Whaley house. I've only seen the Whaley house on YouTube in ghost hunting videos, stuff like that. So I was super excited. And unfortunately, this was during COVID, so it was closed. But I remember walking around and I was behind the house because it's open. It's not fenced up. You could walk around the house, like in the garden. It's not that big, but it's nice. And I'm standing there and I'm by myself because my parents walked around the house and I walked behind. I'm standing there and I had just finished recording and taking pictures. And suddenly I hear a doorknob like jiggle or whatever. And I looked at what could possibly have made that noise. There's a couple doors next to me. So I'm looking and I'm waiting for someone to open the door, right? Because that's what it sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I said, okay, hello and goodbye. And I walked away. So that's the only experience I've ever had at the Whaley house. Unfortunately, I didn't have that much experience or paranormal experience when doing the tour. I didn't even feel scared. If anything, I was too excited. But I'm willing to go again. Let myself be more open because I was with my mom and my brother. So maybe I was just like not trying to mess with anything because I was with them. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, that makes sense too because your mom is sensitive to that stuff.
Yeah. So other reported paranormal activity at the house include hearing babies cry. No, thank you.
Not me hearing my child cry as you say that.
Ew. And remember, Thomas Jr. died at 18 months in the home. So keep that in mind. On the second floor of the house in the back room, people have reported seeing a young woman and also have reported feeling sad while in that area. I didn't feel sad. I was fine. Want to take a guess at who it was or who it might have been?
Oh, God, who?
Well, I guess we don't know that for sure, but guests believe that it's Violet Whaley. Violet is the one that killed herself, shot herself in the heart due to her failed marriage.
Uh-huh.
So, a ghost of a little girl has also been spotted in the kitchen, as well as many other unidentified ghosts being spotted throughout the house. And I think that line of information is super funny because aren't most ghosts unidentified?
Yes
Well,
and no.
yeah, unless you bring like a spirit box or you go to a specific location where a specific death occurred.
Yeah.
Also, a ghost of a woman has been seen in the corner of the jury box. By the way, I've heard of this and was allowed to sit in the courtroom for a minute by myself, but unfortunately I did not see or hear anything. That same corner where that woman is seen is also rumored to be a vortex to the other side. Ooh, I wish I had the chance to sit in that corner, but I didn't. I was just sitting like where the audience would sit. It's a very small courtroom, but it's cool. It's super obvi, like old school. But it's cool. But yeah, that is the Whaley House. I highly, highly, highly recommend the tour. They let you take pictures and videos in there, so you might be able to catch something. Who knows? And it's also in Old Town, so there's a bunch of restaurants, a lot of margaritas left and right to drink, and there's also a cemetery down the street that I visited as well. It's a very cool area. Go check it out. I really do highly recommend. So that being said, do you want to get us started with serial killer of the week?
So we are going to talk about Elizabeth Bathory. Now, she is very complicated. We're just going to kind of start from the beginning about who she was and like her life, like going kind of chronologically. But just keep in mind that there's a lot of controversy and like debate about her as a person.
Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff that I may say that might like contradict some things that I had said previously, and I'll kind of like explain it all like as we go through. So if you have questions, like stop me and let me know.
Okay.
So Elizabeth Bathory was a Hungarian countess who was born on August 7th in 1560, and she would die August 21st, 1614. Her family relations included an uncle who was king of Poland and a nephew who was the Prince of Transylvania. This will come into play later on as well. So Bathory was accused of having killed at least 600 victims, which earned her the Guinness World Record for the most prolific female murderer. But there's debate on whether or not she actually killed anybody at all.
Okay.
So as a child, Bathory had multiple seizures that was more than likely caused by epilepsy. At the time, cures and treatments for symptoms that were related to epilepsy included rubbing blood of a non-sufferer on the lips of an epileptic person.
Oh.
Yeah. Or putting a piece of somebody's skull on them that was a non-sufferer. So it was very dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, this is all stuff to keep in mind, like, as we go further in. So she was raised as a Calvinist Protestant, and she was said to have been spoiled and a child who was never chastised for any bad behavior, even though she was prone to fits of rage and violence. Now, remember, with her seizures, those fits of violence could just be explained by her seizures, something that was undiagnosed at the time. But if you're on the opposite side of the spectrum, then having the fits of rage and violence will, like prove your point later on as we go through.
Okay.
So she is also believed to have been an observer of some horrific scenes of torture, including one day where she supposedly watched local authorities slit open the belly of a living horse, cram a criminal inside it, and then stitch it closed, leaving the criminal and the horse to struggle until they both died.
Chelsea, what the fuck?
Yeah. So this is just her history, dude. Like, it's, yeah, like, let's just,
A
we're gonna
little trigger warning would have been great. Don't you
Trigger warning.
think?
Trigger warning, this might be a little bit dark. So anyways, Elizabeth's uncle, Stefan Bathory, was married to the Queen Regent of Poland and was a very skilled warrior. But there were a lot of rumors about her aunt, Stefan's wife, Clara Bathory. A lot of contemporary research shows that Clara might have taken a lover who killed her husband, and it's a rumor that she smothered her second husband by herself. Other accounts from researchers say that Clara was a bisexual murderess who practiced sorcery and introduced Elizabeth to the dark arts as a child. So she's got a very interesting childhood, and this is all before the age of like 13. And the reason I say that is because at the age of 13, before her first marriage, Bathory allegedly gave birth to an illegitimate child who was fathered by a peasant boy that she was having an affair with. Mind you, she's 13 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah. So the supposed baby was given away to a local woman who was trusted by the Bathory family to raise her. And evidence of this pregnancy didn't come up until after her death, and rumors that were spread by the peasants. So the validity of this statement is very often argued about whether or not it actually occurred.
Yeah, it's a lot of hearsay.
Yes, a lot of hearsay, which is kind of the case about like everything that has to do with her, honestly.
Yeah.
On May 8th, 1575, at the age of 13, Bathory married Count, I'm going to say this guy's name wrong, Count Frederick Nodesty, and his wedding gift to her was his household, the castle of, I'm definitely going to say this wrong, castle of Secheti.
I feel like every episode, if you Ghosties, if you look back at every episode when Chelsea's like introducing someone or like a place, I swear she goes, I'm gonna say this wrong. Like, girl, just say it. No one's gonna know. No one's gonna know. It's okay.
But like, I have to like,
No, I would too.
admit
I would
to it.
too.
I have to
Yeah, I
admit
would
to
too.
it.
Like, you know what, guys? I don't know. I paused. Like when I read Elizabeth Bathory, I was like, Bathory? Was I
Yeah.
right? You know? So
Yeah, no, like I have to. That way the ghosties know like we're real.
I
Like
just
we're
love how
gonna.
you always get like the tough names.
Yeah, I know. Like, what is wrong with me? I love all of these like serial killers
Yeah,
that are from different
someone
countries.
has to do it, man. Someone has to
Yeah.
do it, not me. I stutter with normal names and words.
Well, it might be better in season 2 because they're gonna be local serial killers. So hint, hint.
Hint, hint.
Yeah, so we're gonna be better with names in season 2.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he gave her a castle for her wedding gift.
Do not settle for less, ladies. Do you hear me?
If he doesn't gift you a castle for your wedding, you're not
Fuck
doing it
him.
right.
To the curb.
I might have to go explain that to my husband. Anyways, so 3 years later, Bathory's husband became the chief commander of the Hungarian troops and was off to war for quite some time, which left Elizabeth to manage the business affairs and the estates. So they were married for 29 years before his death, and they had 5, possibly 6 children. Now I say possibly 6 because the 6 either died young or was someone that they like cared for who was just considered to be a child but wasn't actually theirs. And also, there was no 6th child listed on Elizabeth Bathory's will from 1610, a few years before her death. So that they either lost a child young or like it wasn't theirs, just someone that they cared for. So 5, possibly 6 kids. When her husband died in 1604, he entrusted her and his children to a man named Gayogri Duruzo. We're gonna go with that's right. I don't care.
Yeah, that
So
was right.
he would eventually be the lead investigator into Bathory's crimes. Now, it's debated whether or not she was killing people before her husband's death. Some say that she didn't, others say that she grew more gruesome after. And I will give you a trigger warning right now because we're going to go into some detail about some things.
Okay.
So between 1602 and 1604, supposedly that's when the rumors of her atrocities spread throughout the kingdom. And the king set up an investigation in 1610 where they collected 52 witness statements. And then by the end of the next year in 1611, the number of witnesses rose up to over 300.
Whoa.
Now, mind you, 1610 is after her husband's death because her husband died in 1604.
Okay.
So on December 12th, 1610, before they had 300, this was only still like at the 52, but on December 12th, Bathory and 4 of her servants were arrested and accused of torturing and killing hundreds of young girls and women between the years of 1590 and 1610, which is when she was arrested. Her servants were put on trial and eventually convicted and executed, all 4 of them. And Bathory was confined to her home at her castle in December. Yeah, it was December of 1610. She wasn't just confined. There's also rumors that, like, this is also debated. Like, everything about her is pretty much debated, but Some say that she was literally bricked into her castle.
Oh.
So like she physically couldn't leave. But then at the same time, like I'm gonna mention something later, and I'm like, well, if she was bricked in, then how did this happen? Or like,
Okay.
were there people bricked in with her? Like, did she have her
Mm-hmm.
staff bricked in with her? That would suck. So the supposed acts that she committed are pretty horrendous. So trigger warning now. The most popular rumor is that she used to bathe in virgin blood to stay young, kind of like a vampire. She was into cannibalism. She liked to freeze girls in the cold during winter, so she would pour freezing cold water on them and then kick them outside so they would freeze to death. She also was stated to have made some of her servants hold red hot picks in their hands. And there was even rumors of her hanging girls from the ceiling. So the crimes are like outrageous. Like they're crazy. Those are just some of the softer ones.
You know that emoji with the teeth, like the nervous emoji?
Yeah.
That's me right now.
Yeah, like, yeah, the rumors around this woman are just insane. And whether or not you believe she actually did any of these crimes is kind of not the point of why I wanted to talk to about her. Like, it's just the fact that one thing can lead to another. But,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, so we're going to go more into her crimes and stuff after this next part, and I'll get into more like why after. But on August 20th, 1614, it was said that Bathory complained to her bodyguard that her hands were cold, and he just replied with, "It's nothing, mistress, just go lie down." She went to bed that night and was found dead in the next morning at the age of 54. Now, here's my thing. If she was bricked into the castle, how would her bodyguard have told her to just like go lie down? Like, was he just like outside of the
Well,
wall?
I think she was kept in her castle, but like heavily guarded, maybe. Like I don't think she was actually bricked in, but if she was, I'm sure there had to have been guards inside. How else are they gonna bring in food and supplies and stuff, you
But if
know?
she was bricked in, like, how would they even bring the food in?
So they're just gonna starve her?
Yeah, like, well, I mean, she lived there for years, so like that was just it was interesting
Yeah.
to
I
me.
know
Like,
she's lived there for years, but like there had to have been a way to get like food in and stuff, you know?
yeah,
And with that being said, like was she poisoned?
actually, that's not even come up into the research. Like nothing like that has. But keep that in mind when we get further into this background. So yeah, so she died that night. Now she was originally buried in the church of the castle grounds on November 25th, 1614. And according to a lot of sources, the villagers were pissed at having her buried in their cemetery, and so her body was moved to her birth home, where it was put into the Bathory family crypt. Today, though, the location of her body is unknown, and it's believed that she might actually be buried deep into the church that was on the castle grounds, but they don't bear any markings of her possible grave, so nobody knows where her body is at. And there's rumors that she was a vampire, or like was into vampire tendencies, so who knows, maybe she turned into a vampire.
Who knows?
Yep. So now we're going to talk about the things that happened after her death. And the reason that we're doing this is because this is where all of the information about her really comes. It's really like everything takes place after her death.
Okay.
So a lot of people argue that her arrest and crimes were actually a conspiracy because of her wealth, which she had a lot of wealth for being a female after her husband died. And so after her arrest, a lot of those that were indebted to her were no longer required to repay her. So there's another thing too.
I'm getting
So
like Pablo Escobar vibes because like Pablo built his own prison where
yeah,
he like had girls come in, he had his family come in, he had like his whole crew in there. Like I feel like I agree with that. Like she had enough money to like pretty much
have
have it
all of
her
that.
way,
Hmm.
within the castle that she had to stay in, but it's a fucking castle,
Yeah, like, oh no, I have to stay in this castle. Like
Yeah, you didn't
what?
hear my reaction earlier?
Hmm.
Oh no, not the castle.
So we're gonna go into more stories about her. But the most common motif of all of the stories is that basically her vampire tendencies. So the fact that she would bathe in virgin blood to retain beauty and youth. That particular one actually appeared in print for the first time in 1729 by a scholar whose name I am not going to try and pronounce.
Oh.
And it was his work was like one of the first written accounts of the Bathory case. And the story that he told was questioned in 1817, so like almost 100 years later, when the witness accounts were published for the first time, because the witness accounts didn't actually surface until 1765, and none of the witness accounts stated anything or like had any reference to bloodbaths or anything related to that. Basically, he started the rumor that she was into vampiric tendencies, and then later, in actually pretty recently in 1989, Michael Farron, he's a writer, stated that the accusations against her were supported by testimony from more than the 300 individuals who described physical evidence of mutilated and dying and imprisoned girls that were found at the time of her arrest. But the charges against her specifically, he described them as a witch hunt. And then later in 2018, again pretty recently, Alexander Bartzowitz stated that she was prosecuted and the accusations were just a spectacle to destroy her family's influence in the region, because again, like I said, she was in a very prominent family. You know, she had an uncle who was king and a cousin or whoever was a prince of Transylvania. So her family was very powerful. And so they considered her to be a threat to political interests. And so they just basically went after her in the only way that they could. The legends about her bathing in virgin blood and hanging her victims and freezing them and stuff like that didn't really pop up until after her death. And so a lot of them are considered unreliable, but the stories about her just kind of gradually became part of national folklore. And there's rumors, like, I guess they're not rumors. People speculate that she was actually she was the inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's not really true because his Stoker's notes show that there was no direct evidence to support that, and a lot of people think that it was Vlad the Impaler more than it was Elizabeth Bathory. But she is still nicknamed like the Blood Countess and Countess Dracula because of all of the rumors surrounding her. Now, others who believe that she did do the crimes that she committed and have investigated like all the parts of her life. So like questions like, was she clinically insane because of incest, because her parents were actually distant cousins, which was actually pretty common in Europe at the time. But others argued that the various brutalities that she had witnessed as a kid probably triggered her, and the people like the opposing side say that her misdeeds were probably greatly exaggerated because of her explicit sexuality, which was seen as a threat to the patriarchy, which goes back to her Aunt Clara. So supposedly Elizabeth had a pursuit of multiple lovers in and out of the marriage bed, and that she was bisexual, which goes back to her aunt as well because she was considered to be bisexual as well. So it was kind of like a mixture of everything. So besides like the political aspect of the investigation around her being bisexual and just kind of being a strong, independent, wealthy woman was just a threat all the way around. So like everything about her was a threat. So yeah, that's Elizabeth Bathory. There's a lot of stuff surrounding her, a lot of contradictions, a lot of interesting, and not facts, a lot of interesting
hearsays.
Yeah, hearsays basically. But a fun fact, the castle that she was imprisoned in is actually still standing today.
You know what? I'm not surprised.
It's in ruins, but it's still standing. It's still there. But yeah, so regardless of the truth or not, like whatever you believe about Elizabeth Bathory, she is considered a horrific serial killer because of her style of crime, her victim count, which is estimated to be around 650 young girls and women, and also because of her sexual reputation. So she is just all around an interesting case. But we'll go with that, an interesting case.
Yeah.
Now, you know me, I like to go into checking to see like what kind of media attention serial killers have. There is literally so much media about her that it's like crazy stupid. There's everything ranging from books, movies, TV shows, video games, songs, poems, plays, basically you name it, and there's probably something about her with it. Some of the more popular media that popped up during my research, though, includes the 1971 horror film Countess Dracula. There was also another 1971 horror film called Daughters of Darkness. 1973, a Port Manitou film called Immoral Tales. There was a historical drama written in 2008 called Bathory. In 2009, another historical drama called The Countess. 2020, there was a fictional novel called Blood Countess, and I personally learned about Elizabeth Bathory in 2006, so I would have been like we would have been in 6th grade, from the movie Stay Alive, where she was basically known as a character from a video game called the Blood Countess.
Mhm.
And it's basically like what the movie title says, where you have to play the game and you have to stay alive, because if you die in the game, Elizabeth Bathory will come and kill you the exact same way.
I'm never playing that.
It was a really good movie. Actually, Frankie Muniz was in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that was one of the reasons why I
I'm
wanted to watch it, because
still never gonna see it though. No.
I used to be like so in love with him, like as an actor, and so yeah, that was one of the movies. That was the reason I watched it, because it was a horror movie. It had Frankie Muniz, and then I learned about Elizabeth Bathory,
Remember
and I
when
was
he was like the it boy?
yeah, I know.
Wow.
I love him so much. Like as just like an act, he's like one of my childhood, not heroes, but I don't know.
I get you.
Yeah, I'm glad you get me.
You know who's my hero?
Who?
Pedro Pascal.
I should have fucking known. You know who my hero is?
No, I don't care. Fuck who?
Damn. Anyways, so you want
Who?
yeah. Skeet Urich.
Okay, fucking say it then. Jesus.
Well, I thought you already knew. Like I was just
Yeah, but you have to.
joking.
What if the ghosties don't know?
The ghosties should know by now.
Yeah, but we do have some new ghosties, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So anyways. All right, ghosties. So we are doing a tarot card reading for Veronica this week. And it was kind of funny because she found a spread and then I found something similar. So it was kind of like she felt like this was the right spread for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called the Psychic Abilities Tarot Spread by Emerald Lotus Divination. And it's a 4-card spread. And the first card is How Can I Enhance My Psychic Abilities? The second card is A Psychic Gift That I Have. Card 3 represents something that I should further explore. And card 4 is How Can I Learn to Follow My Intuition? Now, when I say I obviously mean Veronica, but that's like the general
Me.
explanations that they have. Shut up. Okay, so card number 1 is How Can Veronica Enhance Her Psychic Abilities? And the card that fell out of the deck was the Queen of Pentacles. And you have a high social status and success and independence.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talented in business and you execute your plans successfully. And you always enjoy making your guests feel welcome.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think you're a pretty good host.
I think so too.
So how can you enhance your psychic abilities with this? I feel like the card is saying that you already have the necessary steps to do it. You just need to kind of apply yourself to welcoming the psychic abilities that are trying to contact you or like make themselves known that you're possibly just not looking at.
Okay. Noted.
Okay, so card number 2 is a psychic gift that you already have. And the card that was chosen was the 9 of Wands. So the 9 of Wands says that you're halfway through a battle and you're drained of energy, but you're nearly there and close to success, which I think kind of goes back to what you were telling me before we started recording, where you've been feeling really tired lately. You have the resilience and strength of will, so you might be guarded and wounded right now and feel like you're having a setback, but you're gathering your strength, learning from your past failures, and getting ready to move forward. So I feel
that is a psychic gift I have.
Yeah.
Is my fucking will, because I barely got through these past 2 years.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that was something that was relevant. So I'm glad that you got a pretty good like reaction from it and like understanding of it.
Yeah.
The next card is something that you should further explore. And the card that was chosen was the Page of Wands reversed. And I just realized that pretty much all of your cards, except for the first one, are from the Wands. So just keep that in mind too. So the Page of Wands reversed is saying that you feel unmotivated and uninspired right now. You're having a setback and you can't find your passion. So you need to think about what's holding you back, possibly looking at inner child issues. That's not coming from me. That's coming from the description. Just saying. So yeah,
excuse me.
So yeah, you got to think about what's holding you back and understand it, because whatever it is holding you back and you feel like this is permanent when it's not. So in order to move forward, you need to understand it, accept it, and figure out how to fix it. So something you should further explore is why you are feeling unmotivated and uninspired.
A little bossy today, aren't we?
Oh, apparently they are. They're very direct.
They're sassy.
Okay, so the last card is something that you can learn to follow your intuition. And the card that was chosen was the Seven of Wands. You've worked hard for where you are, but you're being challenged. You feel like you're under attack and you're fighting, and feel like you're fighting. You're in your corner by yourself. Your life is probably busy and challenging right now, but you have the stamina to get through it.
I sure hope so, man.
I feel like that one doesn't really tell you like how you can learn to
How I
follow
can
your
learn
intuition.
to follow my
It's
intuition.
basically just telling you like you have the gift, you just need to accept it.
Yeah.
But it's
Accept it
not,
or get through whatever the fuck it is that I'm going through
yeah,
to be able to.
it's not really like a how can I? It's just a you need to do it.
Yeah.
They really are sassy today, aren't they?
Yeah, dude, whatever. This is supposed to be fun.
Sometimes the cards are just assholes, but we love
Sometimes.
them. Yeah, it's like all the time. But we
Yeah,
love them,
we
so
do. We appreciate them. Well, anyways, thank you guys for joining us this week. Make sure to give us a follow on our social media. If you want a tarot card reading from us, feel free to DM us with your questions and we will choose one lucky person a week. We are your hosts. I am Veronica.
And I'm Chelsea.
Have a spooky week and talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.